Rabbit Hole Roundup, episode 68. Venom enters the conversation. So guys, in today's edition of the Rabbit Hole Roundup, I want to talk about the movie Venom The Last Dance, which I just saw for the first time a few days ago. And I personally feel like this movie actually entered the conversation when it comes to best superhero movies / Marvel movies.
Eddie, I'm with you to the end.
Not saying like I would put it above Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland, or Avengers Endgame, or any of those movies, or Iron Man, but I personally think like at the very least it belongs in the conversation.
We're not talking. We're just talking.
I'm also going to be analyzing famous basketball and social media stars, the Cavinder twins, and their whole health and diet routine, which came out a few days ago. And I'm going to be telling you what I like about it and what I don't like about it. Furthermore, I want to address an article I saw a few days ago regarding Teddi Mellencamp and her cancer diagnosis, and how she was given a 50% chance of living. And this is my issue when it comes to the whole Western medical system, and how it establishes like a godlike complex over people's lives. I also have some thoughts on the whole NBA MVP conversation, and why I think there's actually an argument for co-MVPs this year between Nikola Jokic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So we have all that and more. I'm probably going to be including some more clips of that in too, so stay tuned for all that. Anyways, without further ado, let's dive deeper now. Rabbit hole time, let's go.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Jared Weiss. For you guys to know that must mean now subscribe to the channel so you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, be sure to leave a like, drop a comment, let me know your thoughts on this video. Follow me on every platform, and if you guys haven't done so already, make sure to check out my book, Fight Through by Jared Weiss. All links purchased on my website, which is jaredryanweiss.com. It's JAREDRYANWEISS.com. Buy the book, support me, and also officially, all the shirts are now live on that website too. So I'm actually wearing one right now. This one, of course, says I'm unstoppable. So like, I currently have 3 shirts of my own, because I gotta support myself, obviously. I'm also like, a huge fan of all the work that I'm doing. So we also have One of One, really cool stuff, as well as Superhuman. So if you guys like what you see, and if you guys want to support me, any support is very much appreciated. Check it out on my website. So the first topic I want to talk about is the new Venom movie, Venom The Last Dance. I thought this was really good. Now, being a huge fan of superhero movies and Marvel movies, I've noticed that Venom often gets left out of the conversation when it comes to talking about the best movies. But me personally, I think at the very least, these movies do deserve to be mentioned in the conversation.
Be honest with me, buddy. How fast do you think you can get that thing to go without killing it?
Only one way to find out!
Now, once again, I wouldn't put them on the same level as like the Spider-Man movies or Iron Man movies. The Spider-Man movies, especially the ones with Tom Holland, of course.
Does it come out of anywhere else?
Only the wrists. You never had a web block?
But Tom Hardy's a great actor himself. And just a side note, his best movie ever had to have been Warrior. Sheesh, that guy looks scary big and scary strong in that movie.
Here we go. Let's go!
God only knows what we had to do to prepare for that role. But back to Venom. I loved how like this movie brought out the other good Venoms and the other good symbiotes, not just the bad ones as we saw in the other Venom movies.
Release the symbiotes!
Take it down!
It was also nice to see like the contemplation of a family life, and Tao Eddie's alter ego, Venom, even says to him at one point how this would have been a nice life or something along those lines.
Sometimes I think we would have been happier with a life like this.
Now also, the conspiracy or questioning side of me was definitely awakened a little bit in this movie. In the past, as you may or may not know, I have done plenty of predictive programming talking videos, and I've sort of taken a step back, rather than like hammer home the same points over and over again. And also because now I try to keep the focus more on all the positive things in our world, and try my best like to amplify those, because I think that's what I do best. However, I did find it interesting how the movie made reference to Area 51 basically being a front or a cover-up for the real stuff that's like happening underground. Now, I'm not saying that like I know exactly what's going on underground, but ever since getting into this whole questioning world, truther world, I've always felt like the whole Area 51 alien stuff was just a front for what's actually going on in some of these underground bases possibly. Who knows what types of experiments or maybe even other civilizations are happening right below our feet? Could there be some type of Winter Soldier stuff going on? Or could there even be like a whole Wakanda type of civilization happening right beneath us? I'm just asking. Anyways, I love the movie, and let me know if you guys saw it and your thoughts on it as well. Next up, I want to analyze some of the health habits from an article I saw a few days ago talking about the Cavinder twins. So for those of you who might not know, Haley and Hannah Cavinder are twin basketball players who happen to be very attractive, and so also have a massive social media following. And a few days ago, they revealed their routines and diet, and I liked a lot of these habits, while I also questioned some of the others. So let's take a look together. And just to be clear, if any of you are wondering what are my qualifications when it comes to this,
Do you know who I am? I'm the Don, the boss.
so while I don't like to mention this too often, because of my issues when it comes to the whole school system, but like I do have a degree in nutrition and dietetics, but more importantly to me, I've done years and years of research on literally every nutrition habit out there, every diet. I've also studied Weston A. Price's methods and ancestral-based eating, and I've also been on my own holistic healing journey from a life-threatening illness. So the article is called What Wellness Looks Like for Hallie and Hannah Cavinder, Coffee, Castor Oil Packets, and Beach Walks. So I'm going to be skipping around a little bit. So both of them are early risers. Mornings are a moment of peace and the best time for us to have 30 to 45 minutes to ourselves, which I think is great. I fully agree with that. I do the same thing myself. I go outside, I meditate, I drink some high quality structured water with lime in it. They also claim to do a morning devotional, journal, and have their coffee. Now this is interesting. So like it says here like both of them are big on lowering their cortisol, but yet both of them drink a lot of coffee. So here's where I'm going to be disagreeing a little bit here, because then they go and say, we're huge caffeine girlies for sure. They love energy drinks, including ghost energy drinks, which I'm not a fan of energy drinks basically at all.
You ever had a Red Bull? I never had a Red Bull before, but I had a Red Bull last night. I really like Red Bull.
Outside of like a few maybe organic brands here and there, if you can even find them. So I'm personally not a fan of coffee. I know it's like a hot topic, and some nutrition people out there are all for it, while others are totally against it. Now, of course, there's a big difference between organic, high-quality coffee versus commercial Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, which I'm sure probably has mold and other toxins. But beyond that, caffeine can often deplete your adrenals and raise your cortisol levels.
Doesn't Red Bull make you crash pretty hard?
No. I don't think so. No.
As well as your overall stress levels and stress hormones. So if you are a coffee drinker, you don't want to become too dependent on coffee for your energy. Don't turn it into something where you're like so overly reliant and so dependent on it that you can't possibly go without it. And also, as I'm sure most of us know, a lot of people are going to replace the lack of sleep with caffeine, which isn't good and is eventually going to catch up to you. And furthermore, coffee can also mess with a lot of people's gut health, especially if you're having it on an empty stomach. So as I always say, see what works best for you, test different things out, but just be cautious. Now, of course, both of them are very active. They're playing basketball, they're going to the gym all the time, which I think is great. They also love going out and getting walks outside in nature, which is amazing. Their diet was okay. I wasn't like too impressed with it because like it does like include a ton of processed food. So like it talks about overnight protein oatmeal, protein coffee, sourdough bread, which is great, with a slice of Laughing Cow cheese and avocado smash, chicken fajita bowl, rice cakes, protein nachos, and ninja cream, which I'm not even sure what that is. So like of course you're getting all the right macros, but like that's also different from eating good high quality healthy foods. Which is why when it comes to diet advice that I would give anyone, I'm always going to recommend just focus on eating whole foods, high quality, organic, grass fed, all that good stuff. And chances are, as long as you're eating that, you're going to be hitting your macros, you're not going to be overeating, you're going to be getting all the nutrients that you need, and you're not going to be getting the toxins to go with those. Now look, of course two of them are super active, so like they're going to be able to get away with eating more processed foods because they probably need like the extra calories. But real whole foods are always going to be best, always going to be king, and should take up the majority of your diet. Now, furthermore in the article, another really great habit that like they talked about was using castor oil packs. So castor oil packs have so many great benefits, such as lymphatic drainage, helping the liver, removing toxins, helping with constipation, as well as activating the parasympathetic nervous system, which is so important for rest and digest and for healing. So I've used castor oil packs plenty of times on my own holistic healing journey, and I know plenty of other people who swear by them and have gotten so many great benefits from them. Next, but when we get into another article like I read a few days ago, talking about, I'm pretty sure she was in like Real Housewives. I've never actually watched the show, just so we're clear. But the article was about Teddi Mellencamp, and it was saying how she was given a 50% chance of surviving her cancer diagnosis. Now this is like a huge issue I have with the whole Western medical system and the whole Western model, amongst many other problems as well.
The medical establishment is a business like any other business, and business needs customers.
Aside from emergency situations, of course, why give the doctors the power of God over your life, essentially? How can any human out there possibly know when it's your time to go? And this is why I believe so strongly in empowering ourselves with holistic health, understanding the body, understanding how the body works and how it heals, taking all aspects of your life into account, not just like slapping diagnosis label on and then saying like nothing else matters. And once again, you might be saying to yourselves, who's this guy? What are his qualifications for saying this? So like just to reiterate, even though like I don't like talking about it too much because I disagree with the whole school system, but like I do have a degree in nutrition and dietetics, but like even more importantly, I've been studying holistic health and nutrition and healing myself from a life-threatening illness and from major health issues and major complications over the past few years. Or you might be saying to yourselves, you're still not fully healed, so why should I be listening to you?
Do you know who I am?
Well, remember now, I was in a coma, I was on a ventilator in a feeding tube, I was placed on incredibly high doses of medication which caused massive side effects, and I had to relearn how to do everything. So yes, I'm not fully there yet, but I believe I am super close and I've come such a long way from the worst and from the depths of life because of the powers of holistic health. And there were doctors out there who told my family like I might not make it, or that I would have some of these issues forever. And if you guys knew what I went through back then, you would see like how much I've had to overcome and how much better I am right now, and how I'm like essentially a walking miracle. And I'm slowly but surely overcoming these issues. And I even saw like a comment on this post that was saying how doctors gave this one person's friend 2 months to live, and she's still living over 20 years later. And also another important point to acknowledge is that even modern science and modern medicine acknowledges the power of belief, which is why every study accounts for what's called the placebo effect. So knowing this, who do you think is more likely to survive, regardless of the path that like the person chooses, whether you go natural and holistic as I believe in, but even if you do go the conventional route, if you believe that you can heal and believe that you're going to live, most likely your body will recover, it's going to respond to this belief, and at the very least you're giving yourself a chance to find a way to overcome this. Our bodies are so resilient and so powerful, but like it all starts with our belief system. Now contrast that with the person who's told that like they're not going to make it, they only have a 10% chance of surviving, and then like as a result that person loses all hope.
I'm dying.
Who do you think is going to survive? Now, the next topic I want to get into, on a lighter note of course, is the NBA MVP conversation. Now, one big issue that I see is how many people are saying that Nikola Jokic is the best player in the world, but the MVP should be Shea.
What?
This makes absolutely no sense. So we're all saying that like it should be Jokic, he's the best player, yet we can't give it to him. And this is like another issue when it comes to the precedent that's been set, because if the award didn't have what's called voter fatigue, LeBron and MJ would probably each have 10 MVPs, and deservedly so. So now no player out there, unless like they just come into the league on like a whole nother level, can ever get more than 3 or 4 MVPs. So anyways, I think we can make an argument this year for co-MVPs between Jokic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Jokic is having arguably the best season ever for an NBA center. He averaged a 30-point triple-double in the regular season, and we just take it for granted. And his team without him would be nothing. On the other side, Shai has been the NBA's leading scorer on the top team, record-wise, and the one thing like he has that Jokic doesn't really have is defense. He's of course one of the premier defenders in the NBA, on the top defensive team. However, I could also argue that like if you take Jokic off the Nuggets, that team is nothing, but the Thunder on the other hand are a well-oiled machine and system, so like they could probably survive and do decently well without Shai, while Jokic is the system and is the machine. Let me know your thoughts on that conversation. Who do you guys think should win MVP this year? Now next up I have 2 clips I want to share. So like the first clip I want to share is talking about a phone hack that actually uses reminders to make your day and to make your life better. Let's watch together.
I always tell my students to do this. On your phone, your home screen, replace the picture of your family and put the word rate of speech. Why? Because we've been known to pick up the phone 200, 300 times a day. That's 200 to 300 free reminders for you to change your behavior you've been repeating for the last 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And every time you see it, you go, okay. It's like with you before. You drop back to your volume all the time. For us to truly create this change, we have to have constant reminders. So what you do is, you create yourself a little 12-week plan. And you plan it 1 week at a time. So first week, rate of speech. Great. So the whole week, you just look at rate of speech. Okay. At the end, what do you do of that week? Record and review again. Did it change? No. Guess what you're doing next week? Rate of speech. And it's that commitment. And I love this Japanese word called kaizen, relentless improvement. And you all do this here amazingly. That's what you got to commit to. And you focus on rate of speech until you see change. And I used to do coaching. I don't do it anymore because I've got 2 kids and they're the most important people to me right now. But I used to coach CEOs and they would see my plan to help them improve their communication skills and they get pissed off because they go, I'm just doing rate of speech. And I'm like, yeah, because your default is so slow, you're putting everyone to sleep. And if you don't change it after week 1 or week 2, I'm still going to get you to do the same thing. And just by increasing rate of speech alone, they became so much more dynamic. It took a month.
So, of course, this message goes way beyond just like the specificity of rate of speech, because like as I'm always saying, technology can be amazing if we actually use it right. It doesn't have to be the devil, we just have to like use it more intentionally. Ever since 2014, back when my major life-threatening health issue started, Ever since coming out of the hospital, my phone background reads, "Nothing worth having comes easy." So this is like a constant reminder every time I pick up my phone, whether consciously or even subconsciously, that every time I'm struggling, or it feels like I'm far away from my goals, now I can reinforce that positive message. That since this is something like I really want, I have to work super hard for it, I have to be patient, and nothing's just going to happen overnight. So I think it's actually a really good idea to find a quote or find something you want to improve on, and then every time you pick up your phone, you're going to see it. You may not even be focusing on it, but like having that message there could actually be very powerful. So this is like a perfect case of using technology to your advantage. And finally in this week's episode, I'm going to share an Instagram clip I saw a few days ago talking about like how impacting people goes beyond just the numbers and beyond just like how many likes you get on every post.
Some people don't press like, some people don't comment, and they may not even interact with nothing you post. But you will be surprised with how many people need your energy. You don't even understand how much you mean to them. They never met you a day in their life, but you can't tell them that they don't know you. They appreciate you in a major way. You are genuinely loved. You are a part of their digital family. Keep going, because you are so needed in the world. Never confuse people giving you feedback with your impact.
So first off, I want to say thank you to this guy so much. I think his name is Dash Hudson, because I need this reminder myself every so often. So especially as someone who puts out content daily, who wrote my own book, and who's now selling t-shirts too, and who has like my own clothing brand.
I do what I can.
You're a very special person. Very special.
Numbers aren't the only way to measure your impact. As Dash just said, sometimes you might be impacting someone greatly, even if they're not liking your posts or not commenting on them. So if you were to give up and stop posting, you'd actually be neglecting your purpose of trying to help people, and you may never know it just because that person never told you how much your post meant to them. Or as I always say, sometimes reaching that number success may take a year, 2 years, 5 years, but like you could still be impacting people right now, even with a small audience. And if you were to quit, you would never reach that massive audience you're meant to. Anyways guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel. I will catch you guys next time. Stay positive, stay hustling, stay grinding. Check out the shirts, check out the book, check out everything on my website. It would be very much appreciated. Anyways guys, I will catch you next time. Peace.